What's up, residents? Jacob here. So if you've been on the internet anytime since, yesterday evening, then you've probably seen the bad news. Well, sort of bad news. Depends on how you look at it. If you haven't heard yet, well, here we go. Godzilla vs. Kong has once again had its release date changed. And this time, it's a big one. The Monsterverse's potential finale, big, massive blockbuster fight between Godzilla and Kong has been pushed back to November 20th, 2020. So yeah, the 20th on 2020 is kinda clever. Good on you, Warner Brothers. But what does this really mean? Before we get into that, let's quickly go over the history of Godzilla vs. Kong's crazy release date issues. Before this delay, Godzilla vs. Kong was set to come out March 13th of 2020, this upcoming next few months here. But a lot of you may not even remember that that's not even the original release date they had in mind before Godzilla King of the Monsters came out. This time last year, if you would have asked somebody when Godzilla vs. Kong was coming out, they would have told you late May 2020. Yep, originally this movie was supposed to come out around May 20th to 29th, somewhere in that range, depending on where you were in the world. After King of the Monsters had its so-so performance in the box office, we know that Godzilla vs. Kong was pushed up earlier in schedule to March, believing that this time would sport less competition than the summer slot they had before. And that's the date that we all thought it would be all the way up until yesterday. So why is this delay happening? Well, Warner Brothers and Legendary, they aren't saying anything about it, just like they haven't said anything about anything for a really long time now. So there is no official explanation, so take what I'm about to say with a grain of salt. This is just my opinion on the matter. Now, what I really think they're going for is a complete CGI, as close to perfection approach as they could possibly get here. My guess is that they heard that people want more monster action, especially after King of the Monsters, where everyone was pretty much going at the human characters and story. They really did not like that overall, meaning the viewers. So I'd imagine that the majority of this movie is going to be in CGI, something maybe like Avatar. And we all know how long that movie took to make, but it came out really good in the end. I mean, that movie's almost 10 years old and it's got better CGI than a lot of movies that come out right now. So when your movie is based on CGI characters and really the whole success of it revolves around these characters, it's best to take extra time on them and make them not look, shit. Now, I may be a bit optimistic, but I'm really hoping that we get sort of an Avatar level of achievement here with the CGI. They're taking so long to make this spectacle of CGI performance with the monsters fighting. That's what I'm hoping for, but you never know what it actually means in the end. Now, I don't know if this next thing has anything to do with the CGI or not, but it's completely possible that the script of Godzilla vs. Kong is getting completely overhauled. Just like I mentioned before, we know that the King of the Monsters human part of the story did not do well amongst the audience. Nobody really cared for it in the end. So perhaps they're having to change up the whole flow of this movie, really base it amongst different things than what they originally intended it to be. For all we know, this movie could have just been 80% Millie Bobby Brown and then the dude with the prison pocket from Deadpool 2. And the rest of it was Godzilla vs. Kong throwing like 3 punches. That would have sucked. So maybe they've heard what people have said about King of the Monsters and really they're gonna make this just one giant CGI fuckfest, which would be pretty awesome, I think. Now, this next possibility I really hope's not true, and that's that the post-production for Godzilla vs. Kong is doing so poorly that it needed like a complete reboot. This very well could be what actually is going on, but until we hear that, I'm gonna say that nah, everything's going good, everything's going fine. So now what? What's gonna happen with the Monsterverse for the remaining part of this year and the future? First off, what about them trailers? I know that we're all just really wanting a trailer, and now it seems like we won't get one. Well, I still think there's a chance that this December we're at least going to get a small teaser for Godzilla vs. Kong. Not an actual trailer, but something quick, something short and sweet, but really delivers. That would be a good route, I think. What do you think? And since we really have no idea when we're going to get the first official trailer, why not put it in the Super Bowl? Now, I know this is kind of like controversial. Does it actually help or not? Well, at the end of the day, the Super Bowl has usually over 100 million watchers that they're at least able to track. It's probably well even more than that. But at the end of the day, most of those people are Americans, and we've seen how King of the Monsters didn't really do that well in the States. So this would be the right way to, help all us Americans know that your movie's coming out. And sure, it would probably cost a hell of a lot for them to put the trailer in any of this airtime, but at the end of the day, if you're going for that one big bang, this is the way to do it. If it's gonna cost you millions of dollars to put your trailer out in front of people, why not put it out in front of over 100 million people who are drunk watching grown 6-foot freaking tall men plow into each other? What better way to show Godzilla vs. Kong, right? I think that's a smart choice. Another thing we can predict now is that we're actually going to get some trickling of promotional material before the movie comes out. Now we were all wondering like, dang, are they ever going to actually show anything? They're going to wait till February before they start talking about this movie? Well, now we know that with at least another 8-9 months here, well, a year's worth of time before the movie's coming out, they're gonna have plenty of time to be like, hey, here's a poster, hey, here's Godzilla's toy thing, hey, here's Kong's fur. So that's pretty cool, and we're gonna actually have some stuff to kind of like build up the hype, but I'm still believing that they're gonna do this completely different than Godzilla King of the Monsters, where I feel like that movie kind of blew its load all in the first trailer, and then from there on out, it just slowly trickled down and people lost interest. Whereas Godzilla vs. Kong, I feel like they can, kind of build up to it. Start off slow and slowly build to that grand reveal, the grand finale. I just think that's probably a little bit better of a marketing promotional run route. But yeah, at the end of the day, there's nothing we can do. Godzilla vs. Kong has been delayed to November 20th of 2020. So I know a lot of you are going to be pretty bummed out about this. I am too, but at the end of the day, delaying something to get the ultimate experience, to get something truly next level, God level, sort of deal going on here, I think this delay is a good thing, Delays aren't always bad, it just means they're actually taking time to make it as good as it can be. I mean, hell, we've seen what happened with the Sonic thing here recently, right? So maybe, that's what they're doing. They're like, they aren't gonna like this, but then they heard us after King of the Monsters, and now they're like, crap, we gotta do this right. So, fingers crossed that this is a good move on their part. But I know what you residents can do. Subscribe and become a resident of Dangerville today, because we're still going to be talking about Godzilla vs. Kong, Godzilla lore and history, King Kong lore and history, some dinosaur stuff from time to time. We're going to be able to give you your fix until this movie comes out. At least that's our plan, and we hope that you would like to actually, be a part of that. So, thank you. But on that note, yeah, November 20th, Godzilla vs. Kong. There it is. I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.